Well, hello and welcome back to Home Shop. If you know me at all, any of the people that watch this that actually know me personally, you know that I didn't start this YouTube channel because I was trying to make a YouTube channel. It's more about me just recording things as I do them for the sake of doing that and getting feedback. And that's one of the great things about having a YouTube channel that I'm finding. And that's why we're here today. This is part 2 of repairing the DVD VHS unit here. In the last installment of this, I repaired this by changing out a capacitor. Turns on, runs fine. The problem is, as I found out after receiving an email from somebody who watched this on YouTube, I apparently put the capacitor in backwards. I never claimed to be an expert on this stuff, and that's actually one of the great reasons why I like to do this on YouTube, because there's lots of you out there that know more than I do, and you let me know. So thank you very much, Joe S., for emailing me. Actually, he didn't put it in the comments. He actually sent me an email to tell me this, and it's very helpful. So today we're going to get in here and switch that around so that it's in the right way. And I'm also going to add in the comments or the description below a few links to some other videos about capacitors and how they should be installed from people that maybe know more than I do. So follow along if you're interested, and let's get this thing working the way it should.
Alright, so getting into the cover of this thing one more time. Give you the speed version of tearing this apart, because we've already seen this a few times in the previous video. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you can go back and look. We replaced the capacitor on this power supply board here that I'm starting to take out because it had blown, or it was bad, and the unit wasn't turning on. The problem is this piece right here. This is the capacitor that we replaced. See the markings on the side there, facing the right. On the old board, this is a shot from the previous video, that marking was on the left side. So clearly I have it backwards. So right here, that's supposed to have that little kind of arrow marquee strip should be facing right here. I should see that on that side. So I'm going to disconnect the solder connections here, and we're going to just flip this around and get it going the way it's supposed to be. I Repair Electronics left a comment on the last video about using a solder wick to remove the old solder from the board. That's a solid bit of advice that I will be taking advantage of. I just don't have one of those yet, but they are in the mail. We're just going to try to get this done using the old soldering iron the way I did in the last video. And hopefully in the future, if you see me doing any more of this kind of stuff, you'll see me doing it correctly. Just gonna push on the capacitor itself on the back of the board as I loosen the solder on the bottom here, and with that sideways pressure it just lets the connections or wire pull through and then kind of falls loose onto the table. Alright, so this little strip on the side here is what we're looking at for the direction that the capacitor should be facing. So in that old picture that I showed on the screen, you could see that that line or strip was facing to the left on this board if you're looking at the top of it, as it's oriented right now at least. So we're going to flip this thing around and stick it back in the holes and make that connection again. It's deja vu. Alright, now with the connections made, now it's back to putting it all back together again. Reconnect the ribbon connectors, screw everything down, turn it back on and see if it works. Alright, I know this seems like kind of boring content, and it kind of is, but I felt like it was important enough to make the video just because of what could potentially happen if you do what I did and don't fix it a capacitor backwards can actually be a pretty big deal, depending on the size of it and how much power you're putting through it. You could start a fire, so don't do that. And I'm going to include in the description below some links to some other videos by other YouTubers who know more than I do about that and have shown some testing about what happens if you let things run and not fix it. So here's the finished DVD player, and look, it turns on again, so we are successful.
Alright, hopefully that's the last time we have to fix this thing. As always, thanks for watching. If you like this stuff, feel free to follow along with us as we go. See you guys next time on Home Shop. Have a great day.